just go out there and make music, but more than that, make friends, make music with other people, meet people. It's truly an unbelievable family we have in this area. And every time I go up on the stage, or even when it's not my night to perform and I go out to see some of my friends or other people I've played with, it's an unbelievable feeling that I couldn't even describe if I wanted to.
Welcome to Local Music Talks. I'm your host, Kayla, and I'm here to learn all about NEPA local musicians and what makes them each and all unique. Today I have with me Noah Scott. Noah Scott is a singer-songwriter from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Performing music since 2013, the former country singer has shared a stage with award-winning artists Phil Vassar and Chris Jansen. In recent years, Noah has been able to perform with some of the best local musicians around, including national touring band University Drive and the artist simply known as Duds. How are you doing today, Noah?
I am doing awesome. I'm so glad to be here, and thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm super happy to have you here. So we're going to start off with some simple questions, right? How would you describe the genre of music that you play?
Well, when I started in 2013, I almost primarily did country music, and I did some other covers, some alternative. And as I've gotten older, I've really branched into the alternative genre, and we're looking at maybe like a Green Day type of rock.
So that's kind of what I was going to say is what musicians is your style impacted by?
I definitely love the bands like Green Day, Blink 182. I also like Phineas, if you've ever heard of Phineas. I really enjoy his music, as well as Louis Capaldi and some of the more modern pop artists out there.
So apart from the music that you actually make, are these your favorite musicians and artists?
No, I listen to a broad array of musicians. I have quite a few opera artists I enjoy, as well as people like Andrea Bocelli, Josh Groban. A lot of classical music is really where I find my footing, when I'm at home and relaxing and kind of just enjoying music.
So what actually drew you to the music industry? Was it more of this classical style music?
Well, I really just like telling stories, and to be honest with you, Kayla, I'm a really poor storyteller. But, I found through, if I was able to write lyrics, and I've always been pretty vocally inclined, yeah, I was able to kind of put a story together through song, something I really love to do.
So what actually made you begin with music?
Well, from a young age, I could, I figured out I could sing pretty well, and thankfully, I was just naturally gifted there. And from there, I picked up a guitar and I started to figure it out, and I just started playing around with songs I had enjoyed in the past, and something that was easy enough to pick up was a lot of the old country western tunes. So we started playing those, and really just took a love for playing music after that, and just had a passion for it ever since.
So do you collaborate with others or are you strictly solo?
Yeah, my favorite thing to do is collaborate with other people, especially in the area. As a musician, we have two goals, in my opinion. Goal number one is to entertain an audience and the people that come out and listen to you and support you. And then the goal number two is, as a musician, I absolutely adore just collaborating and creating art with other people. It's a whole family, this whole area and this whole industry, truly one big family, where we all get to create really neat things together, listen to them together, and just enjoy each other's company.
So are you actively looking for people to collaborate with?
Absolutely. I'm always looking for people to collaborate with, no matter what genre, no matter what their background is. Making music that's going to last a lifetime is something I'm always interested in with other people.
If there's one person in the area that you could collaborate with, who would it be?
That's a great question. Let me think about that one for a second. If I could collaborate with one person in the area, I think I'm going to make it. His name is Ryan Grutt. He plays guitar with University Drive. The kid really has a lot of energy, and it's pretty neat to watch him play. We're talking about sweat, hair all over the place, and that's something I really admire when you see people, because when you're out there and you're watching a band play and you see somebody like him, it really just it gives you the time of your life.
So in that same aspect, how do you feel about performing live?
That's my favorite way of performing. I mean, obviously in the studio, it's pretty neat to kind of grind out 6 or 7 hours of recording music and make a true masterpiece that when you listen to it, it just sounds so perfect and so beautiful. But live performance is where my forte is really at, and it's not always clean. It's not always perfect, but at the end of the day, it's so exhilarating to be up there with people watching you and listening to you and, getting to talk to them afterward. It's a really neat experience.
So I know you are a solo singer-songwriter and guitar player. Would you ever consider adding a percussionist or a bassist or another piece to your act?
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think as a solo, I think most of us are always looking for someone to add, and that's one of the hardest parts because the talented people out there are working on projects and they're swooped up. But I'd always love to make it two people or three people or four people and make it a band.
What would be your ideal setup?
I think we'd have a 4 or 5-piece band. If I had it my way, we'd have a 4 or 5-piece band, and ideally, we'd make our own original music, but I've always wanted to do a band where we played a lot of the old, '90s alternative covers and really just jammed out that way.
That'd probably do pretty well in the area. I hope you can achieve that someday.
Thank you.
So, how exactly do you record your music? Can you walk me through your process a little bit, whether you record and mix independently at home, or you record at home or in a studio and send it to somebody else?
Sure. So, the process starts at home, and it's usually on the porch with a glass of whiskey, and we really just get a couple ideas on the board and start piecing them out and see what makes sense. And again, at the end of the day, I'm looking to tell a story, so I find things that I'm really passionate about and a story that I'm looking to tell. And I get it down on paper and start to make adjustments to that. And, the most recent project I worked on, once I finished writing it, I didn't think I was at the level of guitar playing I needed for the song. So I reached out to a good friend of mine, Duds, he's a really talented guitarist. And again, just gave him the concept, gave him the idea. He wrote the guitar track. And when it's all put together, when it's all done, we find ourselves at JL Studios, like most of the musicians in our area. And we spend 6 to 8 hours tracking it out and working hard in the studio to make it really come together nice.
Is that how you wish to continue, or would you like to have your own studio one day, or do the entire process in a studio?
I've watched them work at JL Studio a few different times now, and um, the effort and hard work and determination and years and years of skill that they put into their work there is unbelievable. And I don't think I'd ever attain that. So for right now, I'm definitely happy putting my music in their hands.
Fair enough. So, in the non-technical aspect of writing your music, where do a lot of the meanings and lyrics that you write come from?
They come from my life. I have stories, and I think we all do. We all have stories to tell, and I think the cool part of music writing is that we get to exaggerate a little bit or hype up the story in a way that, maybe didn't happen exactly the way I sing it. But at the end of the day, all my songs, they're true stories.
Is there a hidden meaning in any of your music?
Sure, sure. Those are the kind of things that's really neat, but I'll keep them to my grave. And they're for me to enjoy. And hopefully, when the audience listens, they find their own meaning.
Do you have anything coming out soon?
I actually have an EP coming out in March. It's 4 songs. Really excited. We collaborated with a couple musicians on this one, and I'm not going to give any names yet, but I think it's going to be really good.
Are you really excited for it?
I am. I'm super excited.
I'm excited for it too.
Thank you.
Do you know what platforms it's going to be on?
We'll be on YouTube. And hopefully, I'm still a little green to this whole recording part of the industry, but I'll try to get the song on Spotify, and I use Amazon Music. Hopefully, there too.
And it'll be on WKCV 1035. Do you feel like your music has an impact on others, whether it be live or recorded music?
It's really easy to tell live how an audience feels when you're up there performing. And, one of the really blessed things I've been able to do is go out there and perform and look out into the crowd, see the look on their faces and see how they're really moved, by some of the songs and some of the things they really love to hear. I sure hope my music does. I think that's the goal of all of us is to really, especially locally, we're just trying to make our community happy and make the people, we're trying to have one big brother sisterhood here.
Well, I've personally seen you live a couple times, and some of the things that you've written have made me cry. So your music definitely has an
Thank
impact
you.
on me, at
Thank
least.
you.
Would you ever want to be famous?
I've thought about this a lot, and I think all musicians have thought about being famous. There's definitely perks that I'd love to see, that come with fame, the notoriety, money, obviously. The truth is, I do music as a passion right now, and as a passion, you can never make it a job. The love goes out of it at a certain point, for me anyway, if I were to turn it into a job. So I think truthfully, if I really thought about it, no. I'm really happy connecting with the the people who live around me and making true lasting relationships with them.
What is the best piece of advice another musician has ever given you?
I think I can say without a doubt, I was really nervous for a performance a few years ago, and it'd been a few years since I played consistently, and I was getting to play with University Drive, which has a few of my friends on it. So I was super nervous, super excited, and I talked to their lead singer Ed Kuzo before I went on, and I kind of hinted to him that I was a little worried about it, and just I don't want to be rusty, I don't want to sound bad, and he said just be yourself, and the people will love you, and that's the truth. I've listened to a lot of musicians in this area, and we're all good at different things, and not all of us are ungodly vocally talented, and not all of us are beautiful guitar players. But when you go up there and you just truly be yourself in front of the crowd, people do tend to appreciate it.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that in some of your performances before. You're talking to the crowd as if it's a room full of your friends, which then makes them a room full of your friends.
And they truly are. They truly are.
So I guess this kind of follows along those lines. Do you follow a process or ritual before a performance to get rid of any nerves or performance anxiety?
I've tried a lot of different things over the years, and I've never really found it. And funny enough, as many times as I've done it, I still get stage fright like it's the first time. And it takes 2 to 3 songs every performance to start to feel a rhythm and shake off the butterflies.
So apart from music, what else do you do with your life? What do you want your audience to know about you to maybe humanize you a little bit?
I have a son. His name's Noah Jr. He's 3 years old, and I'm really proud of him. He's growing up so fast before my eyes, and being a single dad isn't always easy at the time, but he's really impressive. And I'll tell you what, man, he looks just like me, he acts just like me, and I can't wait. I hope he sings just like me. And me, him, and my dad, we all hang out together, and man, we have a wonderful time, and that's truly where I spend most of my time away from music, because it's such a beautiful thing being a parent.
That's amazing that you're able to manage being a musician and a parent, and it's awesome to see three men have such good relationships with each other, because a lot of times you don't see father figures so around in their children's lives. So that's really impressive of you, man.
Sure, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Is there anything else that you do? Any aspirations you have?
Yeah, I'd like to keep getting healthier. We've been on a good kick for the past year, and just, eating better, working out more. And, other than that, I just try to live every day and do the best I can. And I truly do enjoy each day that I get to live on this earth.
Very inspirational, Noah. So, if you could give one piece of advice to other musicians, would it be the same advice that you were given, or do you have something else?
No, I think I have something else to say. And I think what I want to say is just go out there and make music, but more than that, make friends, make music with other people, meet people. It's truly an unbelievable family we have in this area. And every time I go up on the stage, or even when it's not my night to perform and I go out to see some of my friends or other people I've played with, it's an unbelievable feeling that I couldn't even describe if I wanted to. But, as a musician, just try your best and work hard, and go out there and just keep making music.
All right, thank you. Well, thank you for coming on today. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
You as well. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And you'll be able to find Noah's new EP in March on YouTube and hopefully some other platforms. But other than that, I will have his socials linked down in the bio so that you can check him out and see when he will be playing some shows and keep up to date on what he's doing. Thanks for listening, and tune in next time to learn about your favorite local musicians.